BYD has just reported a 55% collapse in profits, revenue falling for 3 consecutive quarters, sales declining for 7 straight months, and in their own home country, the world's biggest electric car company has fallen to 4th place, behind the very brands it was supposed to destroy. This is BYD, a company that survived ridicule, a company that made Elon Musk look like a fool, a company that brought Mercedes, Volkswagen, and Porsche to their knees in less than a decade. But today, BYD faces a problem unlike anything it has ever known. The world is starting to question whether any of it was ever real. How did this happen? How did the company everyone called unstoppable become the company everyone is now calling the next Evergrande?
Evolution of the electric car has come a long way.
China has become the world's largest auto exporter.
$9,200 equivalent US dollars.
Chinese automakers are going to come here eventually, and they're going to do it regardless of if there's a tariff or not.
To understand that, you have to go back to the beginning. For 100 years, the global car industry belonged to 3 countries: Germany, Japan, and the United States. Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes, Ford, BMW. These weren't just companies, they were the pride of entire nations and the backbone of their economies. But in the space of just 3 years, it became a bloodbath. Mercedes watched its profits collapse by 28%. Porsche lost 92% of its bottom line in a single year. Stellantis, the group behind Jeep, Peugeot, and Fiat, posted a $26 billion loss, the worst in its history. Volkswagen announced 50,000 job cuts, and behind every single one of these blows, the same name kept coming up: BYD, a company that until 2003 was still making nothing but simple batteries. Back then, the idea that BYD could compete with Tesla was so absurd that Elon Musk himself laughed out loud when asked about them on live American television.
Have you seen that car?
Today, Musk isn't laughing. In 2025, BYD sold more electric cars than any company on the planet. They outsold Tesla by over 600,000 vehicles. 600,000.
Tesla has lost its position.
BYD is on track to overtake Tesla as the world's biggest seller of electric vehicles.
When the US slapped a 100% tariff on BYD, the company basically shrugged, turned around, and started selling to everyone else.
BYD ended 2025 having sold 2.26 million battery electric vehicles worldwide. Tesla did 1.64 million.
So how does a small battery workshop become the most feared car company in the world? And why is it now starting to fall apart? To understand what went wrong, you have to understand what BYD actually built. In 1995, Wang was a 29-year-old engineer. He borrowed $40,000 from his cousin and rented a tiny workshop in Shenzhen to make rechargeable batteries. 7 years later, he was supplying Motorola and Nokia. By 2003, BYD was the biggest battery maker in the world. Then Wang did something nobody understood. He took his battery money and bought a bankrupt car factory in the middle of nowhere. His own investors tried to stop him. BYD's stock dropped 2.7 billion Hong Kong dollars in 2 days. The press called it a joke. Wang didn't even have a driving license. But his logic was simple. The future of the car wasn't the engine, it was the battery. And nobody on Earth knew more about batteries than him. Tesla buys its batteries from Panasonic. Volkswagen relies on hundreds of outside suppliers for chips, motors, glass, and electronics. BYD decided to build everything in-house: the batteries, the semiconductors, the motors, the software, even the windshields. When the global chip shortage paralyzed the entire auto industry in 2021, BYD just turned up its own chip factories and kept delivering. Every crisis that hurt its competitors made BYD stronger. In Southeast Asia, BYD took 40% of Thailand's EV market in just 18 months. Mitsubishi shut down its local factory. Mazda cut production by 60%. In Brazil, BYD captured 72% of the electric vehicle market in a single year and built their factory on the exact site where Ford had abandoned theirs. The German chancellor personally flew to Beijing, not to sign contracts, but to beg Xi Jinping to stop suffocating German industry. 20 years ago, that would have been unthinkable. On paper, everything looked unstoppable. Dominance in Asia, expansion across Europe and South America, a product lineup that was humiliating every Western brand, and a founder who had turned $40,000 into the world's biggest electric car company. But then, everything began to fall apart. And the first crack appeared not in a factory or a boardroom. It appeared in a car park. Imagine buying a brand new car, 0 kilometers on the clock, plastic still on the seats, that new car smell when you open the door. Now imagine finding out that car was already sold, registered, counted as a sale by a company that needed to hit its targets. That is happening right now, at scale, inside BYD. It is called the zero-mileage used car scandal, and the mechanism is simple and ugly. At the end of every month, when sales targets are due, BYD dealerships register thousands of brand new cars under shell companies they control. Then immediately they resell those cars on the second-hand market as used, 0 kilometers. On paper, those cars count as new car sales. In reality, no real customer ever bought them. A salesman in Guangzhou admitted anonymously that at the end of every month, he was told to register 200 to 300 cars under partner companies just to hit the numbers. Images from 2024 show rows of BYDs, brand new, plastic still on the seats, abandoned in open fields, slowly gathering dust, rotting, unsold. The scandal got so big that China's own Communist Party newspaper, The People's Daily, publicly condemned it. When Beijing criticizes its own champion, you know something is seriously wrong, which raises one uncomfortable question. When BYD tells the world it sold 4.25 million vehicles last year, how many of those were actually sold to real human beings? But the fake sales numbers are only part of the story, because BYD didn't rise in a free market. It rose inside a machine built by the Chinese government, and that machine is now starting to crack. Between 2015 and 2020 alone, BYD received roughly $4.3 billion in direct subsidies from the Chinese state. In 2016, the year they poached their star designer from Audi, the subsidies they collected from Beijing were higher than the company's entire net profit. Let that sink in. Without the Chinese government writing checks, BYD wasn't making money that year. It was losing it. The help came in every form. Free land for factories, zero interest loans from state-owned banks, tax breaks on research, guaranteed government contracts for buses and taxis across hundreds of Chinese cities, and subsidies handed directly to buyers so that every BYD sold in China came pre-discounted by the state. At its peak, analysts estimate BYD was pocketing between $2,000 and $4,000 of public money for every single vehicle rolling off the line. This is why Mercedes can't just build better cars. This is why Volkswagen can't just cut costs harder. BYD can sell below cost for years and still post a profit because the Chinese state quietly tops up the difference. That is not competition. That is a weapon. And then there is the debt that doesn't officially exist. In early 2025, an independent research firm in Hong Kong published a report that landed like a bomb in the financial world. BYD's real debt, they said, isn't the 42 billion yuan the company officially reports. It is closer to 323 billion yuan, almost 8 times higher. Where is this debt hidden? Inside something called supply chain financing. BYD pays its suppliers on average 275 days after delivery, 9 months, in an industry where the normal is 50 to 60 days. Those unpaid invoices are technically debt, but they don't appear on the balance sheet. BYD is using its own suppliers as an unpaid bank, and the scale of it now rivals what Evergrande was doing in real estate right before the whole thing collapsed. Some analysts are now openly using the word Evergrande when they talk about BYD. Not because collapse is certain, but because the pattern looks uncomfortably familiar. But perhaps the most shocking part of the BYD story is what happened in Brazil. In December 2024, Brazilian labor authorities conducted a surprise inspection at BYD's factory construction site in the state of Bahia. What they found was described in official court documents as conditions analogous to slavery. 163 Chinese workers, passports confiscated, 14-hour shifts, no rest days, 31 workers sharing a single toilet, workers waking up at 4 a.m. just to wash themselves before their shift, wages withheld, workers unable to leave.
报道相关内容描述与事实严重不符，还给我们扣上了奴隶的帽子，让我们感觉人格受到了侮辱，人权受到了侵犯。
The case went all the way to Brazil's President Lula. Brazilian prosecutors filed a $45 million lawsuit against BYD. BYD's response. A spokesperson said the allegations were part of an effort to smear China and Chinese companies.
一贯要求中资企业依法依规经营，中方愿继续同巴方一道，本着平等互利、合作共赢的原则，持续加强各领域的交流合作。
That same contractor later showed up building BYD's factory in Hungary.
China's BYD facing accusations of forced labor practices at its newest plant in Hungary.
In 2026, the European Parliament raised BYD's labor practices, making it the first Chinese company ever brought before the EU Parliament over worker rights violations. This is the human cost behind the clean green image BYD sells to the world. Electric cars, dirty secrets. And now in 2026, the numbers tell the full story. Profits down 55%, the worst quarterly fall in 6 years. Revenue falling for 3 straight quarters. Global sales down 30% year on year. 7 consecutive months of decline. And then the number that would have been unthinkable just 2 years ago. In their own home country, BYD dropped to 4th place, behind Volkswagen, behind Toyota, even behind Geely, the Chinese rival that was supposed to be the small guy. Elon Musk saw the data and commented publicly, "That's tough sledding." The man BYD was supposed to have destroyed was watching from the sidelines as BYD struggled. The Chinese government itself issued a public warning telling carmakers the price war they are engaged in is not sustainable. When Beijing tells its own champion to calm down, you know something is off. Quality problems are piling up at the same time. In September 2024, BYD recalled 97,000 vehicles for a steering defect that could cause spontaneous fires, the biggest recall in the company's history. Then October 2025, another recall, 115,000 more vehicles, a different problem entirely. On Chinese social media, complaints about the BYD Sea Lion SUV, radio cutting out after 3 months, GPS showing roads that don't exist, wipers freezing in rain, reached nearly 5,000 official filings in a single week. And this is where the crisis becomes something BYD has never faced before. Because this time there is no obvious solution. The model that powered BYD's rise, unlimited government money, inflated sales numbers, unpaid suppliers, cheap labor, that model has limits, and those limits are now showing. BYD is not just a car company, it is a blueprint. A blueprint Beijing is already running again in solar panels, in semiconductors, in AI. The car industry was just the first to feel it. Whether BYD collapses under its own hidden debt or finds a way to clean up its act and become the Toyota of the 21st century almost doesn't matter for the rest of the world, because the bigger story is already playing out behind it, and it is not going to stop with cars. So here's what I want to know from you. Do you think BYD is genuinely collapsing? Or is this just a temporary dip before they come roaring back? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you think BYD's story is something, wait till you see what Jaguar did. A brand that survived 2 world wars but couldn't survive its own marketing team. That full story is on the channel right now. Go watch it next.